I've never heard that, but that's the origin of CAP. I'm going to look this up. I'm going to look.
There's a principle that
Right.
we have to follow.
Yeah.
We have to have.
Be true to yourself. You don't have.
And when I came back, the place was a mess. So I knew I was missed.
Deep in here now. Now
It's
deep.
incredible. I love it.
Me
That's
too.
good.
Yeah.
That's good.
And applying the recovery, I thought.
Hello, hello, hello. Happy Wednesday, and specifically, Happy Women's Wednesday. So this is the Women's Takeover Wednesday. I'm so excited. I'm Monique Rungy. I'm the Community Engagement Coordinator here at McShin Foundation, and this is our award-winning podcast, Get in the Herd. I'm here with my co-host, Honesty Lillard, the CEO
Hi.
here, and then our special guest today is Ashley Coleman. She is just an amazing yoga instructor. I mean, I feel like I can't even do the right introduction because she offers so many different things. Ashley is an amazing person. She definitely was one of the true believers of wellness as a pathway for recovery. So we're so excited to have her here today.
Yes, very peaceful presence up in here today. So thank you.
Yeah.
Every time I see you, my heart just sitting like that. I was like, oh, wow. Yeah. So welcome. Yeah. So I guess tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do here at McShin. Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a person in recovery for about 7 years. Thank you. And that's mental health, that's disordered eating, that's substance use. About me, I have a very beautiful, privileged family, and I'm very sensitive, empathic soul. And the people that I support are sensitive, empathic souls. So a big part of my learning in this world is how to not be so bombarded with life and to not be so influenced by life, but to actually do certain things to set myself up in a place of empowerment so that I can influence rather than just be imprinted on by life.
Ooh.
So that is just something I've learned along the way. And I'm a believer that your pain is the preparation and the setup for your purpose. So what I do is I have a business. I'm like a spiritual mentor, yoga teacher, meditation teacher. My deepest passion is energy medicine because that's how I feel okay in this world. That's how I walk in power as a sensitive soul. Because I feel like if we don't train these gifts of sensitivities, we do power grabs, food, like anything where we're reaching outside of ourselves to neutralize or to balance out our nervous system. So that's a little bit of my passions. And what I do here is I just teach what I love. I just teach meditation. I call myself like the yogi meditation guide. And what I love more than anything is to just not have a script. I do this. This is my life. I study this all the time, right? To the point where people will say, just be a human, set down the study. So everything in balance. So I just share everything that I love. We do a lot of stuff around stress management and really simple foundational tools like mastering the breath. And what about our posture? How do we sit? So it tends to be what I end up sharing the most is life hacks, like how to walk in power.
Right.
I like a good life hack.
A nice little TikTok video, but in person.
Yeah.
That you can implement today, right
Yes,
now.
yes, right now.
Yeah. So you've been here a while now. You came here, I think, through Jordan Sachs from forever ago. Go Jordan, Loud Vision, check him out. He's a big supporter and helps us with our videos. But, you've done a bunch of stuff with the participants, the yoga, the breath work, the meditation. I took your, I forgot what you called it, but it was like the spiritual, remember your Zoom you did, like with COVID? I took it. It was like a free course about, I want to say ghost, but it wasn't it was like spirits around you.
Spiritually empowered.
Yes. And I believe in that. Like, I believe like I have a spirit with me, and like I believe in guardian angels and stuff. I think we talked about that too. So that was really cool because I was like looking around, like, where is the ghost at? Because remember, I think we had to cut our lights out and everything. This was a while ago.
Yeah.
This was like right at COVID. So
Right.
you were doing like online courses.
Yeah.
So whatever, 4 years ago. But personal, like everything that you're saying, I mean, that's kind of like my personal pathway of recovery now. I mean, I don't do yoga as much as I do exercise, and I do stretching and ice baths and all of that, like meditative state. It's cool that you're in here. So I'm restarting my sleep patterns because I haven't been sleeping good. So I talked to my therapist about it, and she gave me some suggestions, but I'm in the middle of She Recovers training. I don't know. It's a national organization. So we're going to start a sister circle here. I'll learn more about that later once I'm certified. But I do now, like the past 2 nights, I've been reading a book instead of watching Seinfeld, because I just lay in my bed and watch Seinfeld and go to bed, because I try to watch funny stuff because I can't get down with violence or like just any weird, not weird, but like stuff that people can watch. I can't do that because of past trauma and like having kids. I cannot watch any of that stuff. So I started reading, and I'm reading The Two Mountains right now. I don't know if you know that. That's a pretty good. It's steep. So I have to like reread some pages because I'm like, wait, this is way too deep for me. And then I write in a journal by Anna David. We got some downstairs. And then I'm doing a 10-minute Peloton sleep meditation. Last night, I fell asleep. I didn't hit done until this morning. Not that she was talking all night. It's only 10 minutes, but like the mindfulness stuff for me and my brain and my addictive nature is like super important for my personal recovery. So I'm really trying to dive back in, because I used to meditate, but not like 20 minutes or nothing. Cause I'm not going to say I can't do that. I haven't been able to do that, but this 10 minutes, where I'm laying and I'm out. I'm like, I don't even know how it happens. Like and I don't sleep still like as well as I want to, because my dog sleeps under my covers with me. So he wakes me up and scratches me on the shoulder if I take the blankets off of him. So he wakes me up like 6 times at least every night. I know you're not supposed to sleep with your dog, but yeah. So just like trying to incorporate newer things, and well, not really new, but new to me, different things like that. So what are some life hacks that you can tell the audience? So this podcast, so goes into 787,
735.
735. I always get the number wrong.
Or more.
Jails across the United States. So or more is what. So 787 is what I'm going to say. And so what is like, so those that are incarcerated specifically in that environment or new to recovery, like what are some life hacks or some simple things that they can do in their cell, or in a recovery house when they don't have phone or access to like YouTube or anything?
Absolutely. Yeah. So the first thing I would say, and this is a yoga teaching, yoga says, well, first of all, yoga is not about physical postures. 1%. Like it's mind blowing. It's like this ancient 5,000 years old, 4,000 years old from India. And it's a pathway of self-mastery and empowerment. And it will tell you what to do with your mind. So yoga says we suffer when the mind is disturbed. So we have reactions, we have an experience, we react, and then we take action, right? But like breaking that habit loop involves mindfulness. So the breath is the first key, I believe, to balancing your system independent of what's around you. Because so often we are basing our state on what is happening around us. And that's just, I guess, natural to some degree. But if you're in a crazy environment, you want to kind of have your own energy going on and not be so, again, influenced by the world. And one way to do that is your breath. It's free. It's always with you. And the science is when we hold or restrict the breath, we actually tell the brain that we're unsafe. So when we, and I'm a yogi of like 8 years, and I still remind myself constantly to unrestrict the belly, to actually breathe well. It's a practice. So when we're not breathing deeply and fully like a baby is, full in and full out, we think there's a tiger behind us. We literally feel that we are unsafe.
That tenseness.
Exactly. So yoga says when you harness, or when you even out the breath, you even the mind. A disturbed breath is a disturbed mind. And it's just one of the most powerful teachings I've learned. So right there, breathing. And then another one is how we hold our body, because we could learn things all day, but if we aren't breathing and holding the body in an open way, it's just not gonna go deep enough, I feel, because the body and the breath, that's like the foundation.
Right. Especially in today's time where a lot of people that are working or they're incarcerated, they don't have something to like make them sit up, and we kind of just end up being like this all day,
Right.
like really hunched over.
Right.
And I don't know about like even you, Honesty.
I'm like,
like
wait a second. Because
I'm
I do tell myself, like, you're slouching,
Yes.
especially in my car.
Yeah.
So I like push my head, like, I'm,
no, everyone that gets into my car, they're always like, why is your seat so up? And I know, like, my parents are retired Marines, so like I always heard your posture. But I also I wear a waist trainer a lot to work, and I get a lot of flack about it because it's like, oh, you're just trying to like make sure you look cinched. And I'm like, I don't know how to explain to people that it legitimately just honestly feels better for me to sit straight and like
100.
be like that all day. Like I feel like I'm more attentive when people say something or bring something to me. I'm able to give, I don't know, like a more cohesive response. And also because of the way that it constricts a little bit, I'm more aware of how I'm breathing. So I'm like, all right, I feel really tight right now because, girl, you're stressed. And like you just allowed that conversation to stress you out, and now you're holding your breath, and now it feels really tight. Whereas, okay, girl, just let it out. It's okay. And but still keep that composure, still keep that same that's been my, and it was way different feeling that than just hearing when you grow up your mom being like,
sit up straight,
sit up straight, sit up straight. It's, you're gonna have a hunchback. And I'm like,
especially now with these phones, my son, I'm like,
oh
dude,
my
you're gonna get
gosh.
a lump on your neck, because that's true.
Yeah, it
There's
is. It
studies.
is.
But breath work, though, to go back to that really quick, how that has helped and saved me. So number one, I didn't know I was breathing incorrectly. So I started doing ice baths with Daniel Payne, longtime supporter of McShen, and his wife Mackenzie. I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. So like because I exercise a lot. When I exercise, you breathe in and that's wrong. You have to do those deep belly ones. So I'm like, oh my gosh, my belly's gonna stick out in front of all these people, like, because they had like this retreat. And then I was like, well, if I'm doing it wrong, because I'm really big on like trying to learn, and like especially the ice bath, since I have one now. So it is nothing when you get in that ice bath. I already know it's gonna be cold, so I taught myself in it. I get in the ice bath, but it's immediate. You can't. For me, it's like a shock to your. It's a shock to your whole central nervous system, and everything. But as soon as I sit, whatever in it, the breath is immediately from my stomach, and it's immediately telling myself I can't talk, because I can't talk during it, because it makes my breath go out of whack. Because like my friend will come over, Kelly, and do it with me, and when I'm talking to her, it messes me all up, because you got to focus on your breath. I believe, I'm not an ice bath guru, so you can Google it, but it is nothing like it changes your whole perspective on the life in that ice bath. I know that sounds wild, but I've been doing it since Christmas. My husband built it for me, and it's like an insulated, so it's like cute, and he painted it pink and white, so it's like my jam. But it's like all that breath work, and like when I'm going through like anxiety and like because I have really bad anxiety sometimes, and like winter depression and stuff, I self-diagnose. But it's like taking that time, like you said, and like that breath, but actually doing it correctly, because I didn't feel like after I learned that I was doing it instead of panicked. It's like, you do the end and then you hold it, because like my Peloton instructors, they like get us to hold it too, and then you release it for 4 seconds and stuff like that. And I believe because your breath goes to your brain, so like it takes all the energy to your brain cells. And I've had to walk away of many conversations in this building and elsewhere where I need to go breathe. And so then you go into a corner and like do your breath work, even if it's just for because the reality of it is, for me, when I'm calmer, I make better decisions in my life.
Correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So true.
A lot better decisions.
We were talking yesterday in the groups that I led about pattern interrupters. Like if you're looping, because with me and my addiction, it was a loop. I thought I was going insane.
And we want to
and
disrupt at that point.
Correct.
Yeah.
And challenges with food, and where you're just in this like skipping record. And one way to break what they call like the habit loop is the breath and the body. And Tony Robbins is really, really awesome. And he's like, if you want to change your life, you have to change your state. If you want to make a powerful move, you have to move like power moves. So what I have people do is like stand up and get in the Superman posture. You ever heard that study by Harvard?
Yeah.
It's so
Oh no, but I've heard of the Superman. A lot of women like Mel Robbins, I think, and they do that before they go on stage. Superwoman. But
yes. I just heard. So this morning when I went to Chamber RVA, had this incredible DEI spotlight, and it was women in the workplace, and they had this panel, and this lady, I'm so obsessed with her, Faye. She just blew my mind, and that was one of the things that she talked about. Whenever she's about to go speak in front of, it doesn't matter how big or small the group is, because in her position as a CEO, she has a lot of smaller meetings, you know, that aren't talking in front of a bunch of people, but it's people in positions of power. It's a lot of men. And she's like, she just goes in the bathroom. She looks at herself. She gives a big superwoman, you know, breath and has this like affirmation. And I was just like, you know, that is so real because we need that.
Yeah.
And, you know, something that I'd love to touch on, if you're okay with, because Ashley, you were the like first person that really were like, you bought into the Wellness Wednesday idea. And I will not forget that, you know, the very first Wellness Wednesday. And it was something that was so important to you. I didn't know until sitting in the chapel and like going through what we were going, that you were in recovery. Is that something that you feel comfortable sharing about how you found recovery, and maybe like destigmatize it for yourself in order to be able to be open about being in recovery?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that and asking that. Yep. So how I found my recovery and sort of a little bit about that journey. So I feel like, and I've learned this in school, and this is just another pattern interrupter, is there is an inherent intelligence in addictive behaviors, because some part of you thinks something, it feels that something is totally not right. And so you're reaching for something to feel better. So I found my substance of choice, and I wanted it. Like I wanted a life of addiction. I desired it. Well, I wouldn't say I wanted addiction, but I wanted to explore those darker realms, if you will, of codependency and relationships. And, you know, I remember being in high school and wanting to have that experience. And ever since I was a child, I've always known that my struggles are going to be used to help others. Like ever since I always made that connection. I used to not be able to sleep in my room because all these like spiritual attacks and all this like invisible energy coming at me, probably with the scary movies and things. And somehow I even then knew, I was like, oh, I'm going to help kids sleep in their room at night. And then I had depression and, you know, mental health. Oh, I'm going to help people with this. So it's beautiful that I made that connection.
Yeah.
So I found my substance of choice as a medicine. That went on for 7 years, all day, every day. And then I explain it like this. It used to bring me up and make me feel better. It stopped doing that. It stopped working. It's the hole in the soul. It's never enough.
Right.
And it stopped working for me. Right? It's just, if I were to look at it through reason, it's no longer working. So I realized that it was lifting me up, and then I started to raise myself up through spirituality. That's what woke me up to my power. And yoga was the beginning of that for me. And I got to that point. And so every time I would use it would bring me down, anxious, depressed. Why am I doing this? So I got tired of that feeling. So I just walked away.
Wow.
I was able to do that. And then I was like, well, now the real healing begins because I haven't looked at all of
You better
this
do a lot of yoga,
stuff.
girl.
We're going to do some shadow
You're
work.
gonna get some child poses up in here.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm not getting out of child's
I know.
pose for a long
That's
time.
my favorite. Such a good stretch too. Gosh,
It's so good. Yeah.
It does. It feels really good.
Yeah, but now you're like you said earlier, like a lot of us turn our pain into purpose or your passion into purpose too, as well. And like being able to have people come into McShin and provide these services for the humans that we serve is phenomenal. So we started doing really wellness stuff like 3 years ago, really incorporating. But in our participants are like, I hear them down there screaming, not badly. It's like this scream.
It's like you think that it
thing.
might be bad, but it's not.
I was like, what is? I hear Pink Floyd. I was like, is Melody listening to the Pink Floyd, which I rock,
right?
So that's cool. But then it's like all, it's just like it's really cool for me because I'm on the second floor and a lot of that stuff happens in the chapel. Like hearing our people get these services that are life-changing and early in recovery, longevity as well, but in early recovery. So it's not just group, like just so you know, if you ever want to come to McShin, it is a group, but it's not just group. There's so many different avenues, I believe personally and professionally, for not just your recovery, but for your mental wellness, period. And I just want to personally, I love you, but like personally, thank you for like everything that you've done, for all the women and men here at the organization, because I know it works. When I take the practices myself, like I know what breath work, what poses and I love the tree pose. It took me forever to kind of get it because I got these short little thick old tree trunk legs. So it took me forever, but now I like when I look in the mirror and do tree pose, it is just such a cool thing to me. So I just want to say thank you for that, because you do, every time I even see you, it's just like, I feel like I take to like 20 bong hits. Like when I'm around you, like when I see you, when I come around you, I'm like, man, I don't know. It's just like a sense of just very peace. So that just shows like the human you are. If everyone in this planet had just a little bit of like what you give out, gosh, can you imagine what the world would be like? I mean, just you've never like 1 second have had like a negative form of anything as long as I've known you, like nothing. And that just shows like how powerful you are.
I will say this.
Yeah.
I follow Ashley on Instagram, and I know we do as McShin, of course. Please follow her. Alchemy Wings. Alchemy. God, it's unique. Sorry. It's right there. It's up on the screen. Okay, that's the website, but the Instagram is at wing.alchemy. And I've seen some of the negative since I've met you, like 3 years ago. I've seen some of the negative that you've shared, like the negative experiences in life, that it's not negative, it's just life. And I feel like that's what we have to remember. It's just life. It's not negative or positive. But I've seen like, you post about like these really vulnerable things about breakups and just things that like as a young woman I can relate to. And I'm like, okay, she's being so vulnerable about this, but yet so like accepting, and that is inspiring, and I feel like as a past yogi, because I will not say that I'm a current yogi, but as a past yogi, I feel like that's what it all is. It's like not just teaching yoga classes. It's not just teaching this or teaching that. It's actually living it and like showing that it works by living it and being transparent, which is an incredible thing that happens now through social media. Honesty.
A few incredible, authentic. That is like,
that's the big word.
That's the biggest thing everyone should be. Like, share your stuff. I mean, what? No, I'm not saying go out there and share everything that's happening in your household by any means, but like, a lot of our team here knows a lot that's happened to me. I mean,
Yeah.
I did write a book, but I mean, other than that, like
No, but even
that was
other
like 2
things,
years
yeah.
ago. Like it's important to show specifically as women, you know, what we go through, like my hysterectomy, like I've talked about that on social media, and like, you know, it's not at first I'm like rereading it and stuff, and then I show my scars a little and stuff, and it's like the reality of it is women need to hear this,
Right.
because I didn't know a lot of the stuff that my body was going to go through when my uterus was taken. So it's like just like being vulnerable, how depressed I got, how much anxiety. It was weird. It was wild. I experienced so many different things, and it's like that's what social media should be, is like getting the information out there, because a lot of women are constantly, I got to do this, I got to take this, I got to take care of this, I got to get the kids, I got to go carpool, I got to do all this, all the things. But the reality, sometimes we don't. Oh yeah, I just got to have a hysterectomy. So I just kept like, I'm just having, it'll be fun.
I just want to say this, you know, working at, you know, my title is community engagement coordinator. I try to assist Honesty in whatever way possible. After this procedure, do you want to know how much time she took off? Like a freaking week. Like went out of town and then was like off, not in the office, but still was like doing all of this stuff on the computer. And like, while no, I've never carried a child. I don't, you know, that's not, but I just know that's a major procedure. And she's just like, okay, whatever, it's cool. I'm just like missing all of like these woman parts, and it's one of those things where people don't even realize, and I'm glad that it's Women's History Month, because
because y'all are learning a lot today about me.
Because for real, because for real, like we don't see, like, you know, women are the only ones that talk to Honesty about this earlier, like that get asked about their work-life balance and all this. And it's like we have to work double or triple times harder just to show and prove our worth at the same, like we can fill all these expectations. Please don't mind our women things that happen like throughout the month, or like health issues that were going on, or maybe a maternity leave. Like people are so scared to talk about that stuff. And it's like, that stuff can all be healed if we're able to. I know for me as a young person in the professional world, it's important for me to see leaders that are also women that go through women issues that can guide me and say, it's okay. And we'll get through this. And I got through it this way, because think about all the women that didn't have that opportunity. Like, honestly, I mean, I know you had Carol to show you the ropes in certain lanes, but as far as operations, running this you know, you didn't have that woman. So then it's like left on your plate, and you have all this responsibility to be like, hey, y'all, just by the way, I know that this might not get us the best publis, you know, but as a woman, this is what I'm going through. I had a hysterectomy, and this is how it's affected me and affected you. Talked about your mental health, how it affected your mental health and not being able to work out. And
that was tough.
That's a whole nother thing that we don't, you know, even address. So it's like you have to get to that first initial person that busts down everything just to even be recognized. So the transparency that you have and the transparency that you've had, you know, I know for me, I know a lot of my friends that teach yoga that are in recovery, but they don't say that they're in recovery because it's a stigma that comes with it. You're not like yogi. If you know, it's like you're not like,
interesting.
It kind of touches your sacredness, I guess, or whatever, but it's like they don't feel comfortable talking about it in public, and that's okay. That's their own journey. And but I love that you're transparent about it. I love that you're transparent about it, you know. Those are all things that are important.
It's like my father taught me. He's an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur since 2016, and he taught me to be a contrarian. So I take pride in speaking out. Like I'm proud of it. And we'll be at family gatherings, and they're like, I'm a lawyer and I'm in an engineer, and I'm like, I'm a psychic healer, and they're like, what did you just say? And I'm like, this is what I love. I do this full time, and I do energy medicine. And they're like, And you'll notice some people get bright in their eyes and they want to talk to you. And I'm all about it. What's interesting is I used to be a little preachy, and I think that can happen just for myself. When you find something that works, it's from love, but I actually hurt my family because I'm like, you need to eat fruits and vegetables. You need to do all this stuff. And I learned through this passageway of judgment,
Yeah.
that doesn't work. So I'm actually less preachy, and I just walk it. And that's what you were sharing about the embodiment. People don't hear what you say, they hear how you make them feel, like when you walk in a room. And honestly, thank you for sharing that, because that's goals. Like I want to walk into a gas station and beam the love of existence and impact other people. So that's awesome.
You do, because how you walk, you just kind of flow. I don't know. I'm inspired to be like, I just walk in like boss bitch, and you're like,
hey, that's awesome too. I love that.
There's different ways to like not even command energy or attention, but there's different ways of it. And I feel like I almost like kind of more embody the energy that you embody, honestly, where it's like I come into the room, I don't have to like be loud or whatever, but you're gonna feel my presence. But you might feel it in like oh, she's here. Okay. Like I don't know.
Run. No.
Not run, but not run, but just like I don't know. But then there's certain people like, you, Ashley, and like Shannon and like Sarah Daves that like they come around and they command attention. You command rooms, but it's a different energy. And they're both impactful, but it's different energy. And I can't help to, I feel like some of it is like more of operating in like the feminine and more of it's operating in the masculine because of the spaces that we're in. But that's just how I feel. But it's so impactful. It is, because you can walk into a room and, you come into a group at McShen and, people are in all different spaces and phases of their recovery. Some people just got there that day. Some people are detoxing. Some people are like, in their first week, and they might not want to be there.
Sure.
They might not want to be there, but having someone that comes in, and they definitely might not want to hear about a wellness Wednesday or a wellness group or breath work or meditation and yoga. They don't want to do that. They don't want it because they're thinking, oh, I've got to put all this effort in. Yeah. And then you come in with this energy that is safe. It's not soft. It's safe. It's a safe energy. And you kind of you're transparent and say, I have this energy and I'm also in recovery. So I've gotten to this point. Right. And it's kind of cool to just see people led in that way, just to have the exposure.
Yes, that's one of my favorite things is, are you going to go in there and talk about angels and spirits, or are you going to meet them where they are at? Yes. That is my favorite thing. Walking into a room, different colors, different ages, and just being able to meet them. And I always say, has anyone not met me before? Raise your hand, because I want to let you know that I'm in recovery. I want to build a bridge immediately and say, we are in this room and we are not the same, but I'm in recovery and I have a sense of that journey through my own way. Because if we don't build a bridge, like, why would I listen to her? People have their judgments, and I'm cool with that. People will literally tell me, I thought you was a little crazy. And people, and one person at the women's house are like, I hate when you're right. And I just look at them and smile. I'm like, you can take or leave any of this. And that's so important. I'm like, I got a buffet. And with the men's groups, here on Tuesday, I'm like, I go in a more sciencey way. It's adapting the teachings to who's in the room. That's one of my favorite things ever, because you want to be able to speak their language. Absolutely. In a way.
Yeah.
Well, where can people find you? What's next for you? What are you doing outside of McShen?
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, we got the website up.
Yep.
Look at that. We'll scroll that back.
That is so nice. Wait, go to the top.
Up, down. Okay, down.
Wait,
down.
I don't know which way.
Steve, go back this That's what. Yeah, flew that up. Flew.
I mean, but I like that picture.
I know, but I wanted to
pretty.
see this other one for a minute.
I know, but can't we start at the top?
Oh, look at that.
Oh,
That's cool.
growing
that
your soul in
is
sacred
the-
community.
That's the crux of the winged alchemy world. I'm moving into a membership, a
Oh,
community
cool.
model. So
well, check it out if you're interested in this. Join the membership.
So with the membership, do they get access to like free like videos or?
So it's a very specific, luxurious path of soul growth, like the deepest transformation. We're not here to cut off the leaves of your tree, that is you. We're here to go to the reason why things are the way that they are, like the blueprint of your reality in the soul, your deepest stories, your karma, even past lives and spirits and all these different things, to have an incredible transformation at the deepest level, to bring you into a full alignment, like in the middle of the flame of your power and your purpose. And so in the membership, I'm actually calling it a mystery school. I've always wanted to be a teacher.
Wow.
I have a
Mystery
certificate from a
school.
mystery school.
Oh,
I
that's
just want to say
cool.
I love them.
That's
They are
awesome.
the most fulfilling things I've ever, and I've had other ones that I've wanted to go into
Yeah.
after I did my 500-hour yoga
Nice.
teacher training, and that is the way to go. It's a very West Coast
No, that's cool.
style.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we meet, and what I have found is that number one, people are, and I'll just share this, and you're wrapping up in a moment. I saw two gaps in the communities that I serve. And that is one, we're all alone studying spirituality in our homes. Like we literally thrive in community. Like you see it at
Yes,
McShin,
yep.
right?
Mhm.
Get in a room of people like you and watch your life just shift
Mhm.
before your eyes. So the community piece, we meet 3 times a month on Zoom. It's like a church for mystics, I say, dare I say. I'm like, it's
Mhm.
not a religious space. People can bring whatever beliefs they have, but it is a meeting with your soul 3 times a month. The other challenge I saw in the community or problem or gap is all of these memberships are overwhelming. Here, pay this and you get access to 500 classes. That is a buffet where you either get overwhelmed, you don't do anything, or you get oversaturated and don't absorb anything. So what I've created is a lush, fine dining soul growth experience. We meet 3 times a month. We do 2 energy healing sessions as a group where we clear things and heal things and activate your psychic gifts. And then we have a 2-hour deep dive session on our monthly theme. So it's 1 theme a month. It's a 6-month container, and people go on and keep re-enrolling. We had 8 re-enrollments the second time I hosted it. So it's a pretty powerful community.
Yeah, that energy healing. You didn't do me, but another lady did down in my office.
You did Reiki?
No, I did it. It was like she actually did like this energy heal. I've done Reiki before, yeah. But she literally, there's so many negative energy in this building because so many people come in with all of their trauma and negativity, and then this church is so old, so people have not died in the church, I don't think, but like just funerals and stuff. So she taught me, which I don't do it anymore, but now I'll probably start doing this again. Take the cobwebs off of me and throw them down the shower when I'm in the shower, like take all that negative, because she had to like step out of my office before she came back in because it was so much pain that was being in. And she did a whole like my previous lives, and I was a witch, and I'm very happy about that.
Of course you were.
Yes,
That's awesome.
very happy about that.
Love that.
I love witches. But well, thank you for your time and your energy.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You know, so thank you for that. Follow Ashley. If you would like to join one of the classes that we do, just see Monique.
And also, so if you are, our classes are open to the public. Our groups are open to the public. So if you would like to do Ashley's meditative or yoga group, it is at 10:45, right? On Tuesdays?
Tuesdays is 9:30 to 10:30.
God dang.
Thursdays.
Thursdays 10:45.
No, Thursday. Okay. Tuesdays is 2 to 3.
At the women's house.
No. I come here Tuesdays too.
Oh.
I know we switched it up. We added some things. So Tuesday I'm at the women's house, and then here from 2 to 3. And that's not like a physical yoga practice. That's just a meditative group workshop experience. And then Thursday is the physical yoga practice at 9:30.
Yeah.
9:30 to 10:30.
And
We'll get
then
it straight.
and then so starting next month, we're really excited to welcome Ashley back to our Wellness Wednesday. Our Wellness Wednesdays, it's the last Wednesday of every month. So for April, it is April 24th. And for May, it's May 29th. We will be having some surprises. We'll be doing some music therapy, some yoga, some breath work. And then we have a really big surprise for you all in May.
A new car. Just kidding.
It's not a new car.
Well,
you all
thank
so
you
much
for
having
your
me.
time. We love you so
Absolutely.
much.
I love y'all too. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.